Go to party websites and get more politicians lists from those websites. Okay, so it's a combination of volunteer work and scraping. That's what I want to make clear. Then how do we get the companies? Same thing. We scrape SSMs for GLC directors. That part we can automate. And then we get volunteers to go to FSB websites and look at annual reports and get lists from there as well. Okay, so both sides, there's a combination of automated scraping and manual volunteer work. Why? Because some of these sites are not the same, the format is not the same, you can't scrape them in the same way. Then we combine them using fuzzy logic. So basically, like I said, two names very similar, we can kind of guess whether or not they are the same name. And then after that, if you can see here, there's a similarity score. So macam like SA site Ibrahim is site no, there's a similarity score. One means perfect match, and then it gets lower and lower and lower. So we can actually count like, okay, if it's so low already, it means it's not a match. But then the volunteers can go in and say, okay, maybe this is a match, maybe this is not a match. It just cuts down the amount of work the volunteers need to do. Okay, so that's how the methodology for Pantau Kuasa is going to work. Any questions? If you guys want to ask during the presentation, it's fine. Let's not treat this like or after only ask questions or whatever. If you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to ask. Okay. So these will be published on pantaukuasa.com. Pantaukuasa.com is already live with 2022's data. So you can check out the previous data dump for Pantau Kuasa. And basically it has like all these directors and the companies and where they're linked to and stuff. And then we'll also be publishing on MyMP. So basically we have a badge that says there is a suspected political appointment here. So if you click on it, then it will show you the Pantau Kuasa website. You can click on it and see what the political appointment was. Okay, so that's how this is going to work between our two companies. Once the data comes out, we definitely want to look deeper into it. We want to see, are there certain parties that have more political appointments than others? Are there certain age groups maybe? Are there certain sexes, maybe males get more, females get more, that kind of thing? So we'll definitely look more into the data and share that with you guys once we're ready, okay? Now, here's a community message. How many people know Python here? Python scraping? Like, you can program in it? Okay, so I also thought like, I scrape only very easy, right? Okay? Python programmers will tell you it's not so easy, okay? And I just want to share a little bit of this knowledge with you guys, okay? So, first one, Muhammad. Okay, there's about 15 different spellings for Muhammad. And different places will spell them differently. Let's say Mahathir bin Mohamad. Some spell it with an M-A-D, some M-M-A-D, some M-E-D, some M-O-H-D. So these ones we have to make sure that we can eliminate from the similarities. Okay, so that's one complication of scraping. Another one is in the SSM is pure text. So the name continue after that got address. So kadang-kala, right, if there is a short name, there will only be one line. As you can see, this one is a long name, so it's got 2 lines. So then after that, the number 10 sometimes will go up there one. So we get this, Zammi Zati Binti Hashim Lorong Sri Melati, like in our scraping. So we have to actually clean that up ourselves. So I just wanted to tell you guys this, so to share with you that data scraping is not so simple. It's something that requires a lot of finesse, it's something that requires a lot of experience. Our data scraper is actually a student, a Malay student who's studying in Germany right now, and he saw our website and he decided to help out, and he has been absolutely fantastic doing all this work remotely for us. Okay, fuzzy logic issues. So fuzzy logic doesn't take into account the order of the words, or at least we haven't found a way to do it. So Muhammad bin Sabu and Sabu bin Muhammad is going to be a 100% match. So we have to do a little bit of manual checking to actually eliminate those kind of similarities. Okay, so I just want to share that with you. With that, this is the conclusion of what we're going to share about Pantau Kuasa. We'll be willing to share more in February, right? When everything is launched, I'm sure we'll be organizing a press conference then as well. If you guys are interested, please leave your names with Sabrina and indicate to us that you want to be invited for that one, okay? Then let me move on to the NDI workshop results. Okay, so basically NDI, the National Democratic Institute, actually funded a series of national workshops for what makes a good MP. Sabrina, I need to take a picture of this one for NDI. Yeah. Okay. So basically what we did was we held workshops between May and September 2023, partnered with TCAS, MCCHR, Penang Institute, and ABIM to improve reach in various states of data journalism. In effect, we were trying to tell them why data is good, why it's powerful, why it's important to move the conversation from rhetoric to metric. Okay, meaning what people feel to what the data says. Okay, so for instance, some of the things that we teach them is data is not used to whack somebody over the head and tell them, I'm right and you're wrong. Okay, it's more, have a look at this. That's what data is for. And that's something that we've always been pushing for since day one. Okay? So we held 10 workshops in 7 states, and we recruited 146 participants, I think in total. It might be 150 actually, but I think 146 is a conservative estimate of the people who signed up, registered. Okay? We taught things like how the legislative process works, how DOSM works. Can MPs fix potholes? The answer is yes, they can if they are fit. Sorry. And how to make data cool, where to look for it. Open DOSM, guys. You guys as journalists, you need to check that out, man. Open DOSM is cool, man. They have a new function called Kawasanku. Kawasanku can basically tell you this constituency versus this constituency, which one got higher poverty rate or lower poverty rate. So it's really, really powerful stuff. I highly advise you guys to check it out. And then we came up with this hashtag that no one used. It's called Semak Kerja MP. Guys don't launch hashtags anymore. Nobody uses them anymore. So yeah, we knew that. Okay, so feedback from the course was basically that, don't worry, we're getting there. This is the training got really, really good feedback. Sorry, I had to show you this. Most people recommended it. Yes, yes, yes. Most people said they're going to use it in their organization. Great. Okay, never mind. Intermission and what's for lunch. Okay, please visit sakaf.bp.com. Pick a main dish. Place your order at bit.ly MyMP Makan 69. Okay, the reason for this is because Sakaf needs a pre-order. So if you can, go to this website now and place your orders. Also, let Sabrina know if you're coming for lunch or not, because we need to book seats for you guys. Okay? Wow, this fella arrived just in time for the lunch order. Hi.
Good timing.
Yeah. Very, very good timing. Okay, so that's it with the NDI workshop thing. And now we move on to the main dish. Who is Malaysia's most controversial MP? Okay, now let me explain how we got here. Okay? So what we did. Essentially, we updated the HANSARDs. We do this all the time. Okay, so anyone who knows MyMP thus far knows that after every sitting, we'll organize a bunch of volunteers, sit down and look through all the HANSARDs manually to look for questions and motions. Okay. On top of that, we scrape the HANSARDs for certain information, things like attendance. Okay, so I think a lot of you who have covered us in the media before covered us based on attendance, and we're very happy to see that attendance was actually one of the key talking points of GE15. I think that was a really good thing for us. I think that's how our website actually reached, I think, 1 million visitors during GE15. Very, and when we started getting more funding also, so that was cool. Okay, so then what we did was we scraped back to 2022. Now in the HANSARDs, there's this word, okay, and we came across it totally by accident. It's Dewan Rio. Dewan Rio means what do you call that person who types everything out?
The
stenographer.
Transcriber.
Transcriber. Okay, so the transcriber type. Lepas tu someone say something. Lepas tu they're like, forget it. I don't want Dewan Rio. Macam tu, okay? So they just type Dewan Rio. So what can you do with this data? You can look for every instance of Dewan Rio and then look for the 2 names that appeared before Dewan Rio. And then you mark how many times these people appear before Dewan Rio. Tiap HANSARD pun ada Dewan Rio, you know, almost every single time. Okay? So this is probably the most scientific way of seeing who is the most controversial MP. Would you guys agree? Okay, and then also you can find Dewan Ketawa. So kalau ada Dewan Ketawa, then you know who's the funniest MP. Okay. So we did the exact same thing. We looked at Dewan Ketawa and we looked at the 2 names that appeared before. Why 2 names? Because sometimes it takes 2 to tango lah. Once in a while, you know, one MP says, yeah, then everyone starts laughing already. But what did the guy before him say? You know, someone needs to set up the joke also. So that's why we tracked 2 names before. Okay? So, please, yeah, this for fun, don't sue us. Okay, to any MP who is out there on the list or whatever, if you're happy with the result, please reach out to us. If you're not happy, please don't reach out to us. Okay, thank you. So, Rio for Parliament ke-14, pre-GE 15. Okay, so this is up to this July 20, October 2022. Okay, from July 2018 to October 2022. And your most controversial MP is Saniswaran Netaji Raya, okay, with 521 Rios. As some of you mentioned, Tajuddin was there also, Shahidan Kasim is also there. Who's the other name? Someone mentioned? Awang Hashim. Awang Hashim, later, that one later. Yeah. Okay, so this is from Parliament ke-14. Okay.
How many Rios did?
This image is from DAP, so thank you DAP for this image. Yeah.
How many is it?
How many Rios?
Huh?
How many was that?
520. Wait, let me see. 531. 531.
The confetti is a bit, you know.
Sorry. So okay. I take it out.
Will this be available?
Yes.
Yeah.
500 and. Okay, let me move the confetti. Yeah. So unprofessional. 531. So I just moved him over to the corner there.
But I can also spot Chow Kun Yeow names over there.
Yeah.
But I don't think, if I believe he barely
He barely
parliament.
spoke.
Maybe that's why it's funny.
We can release the data so you guys can check it and let us know if there's any issues with that data. We can definitely fix it and reissue, no problem. Because this is something that we did kind of like almost for fun to attract people like you guys to be interested in the data that we do. So one of the things that I really want to do is make HANSARDs fun. Most people don't even know what a HANSARD is, you know? And it's so important because if nobody reads these HANSARDs, right, these guys can get away with anything. It is our job as a rakyat to read these HANSARDs, and it is my job as a founder of MyMP to make these things fun. So this is one example of making it fun, okay? Not to get sued, not to make anyone like angry or whatever lah. Okay, so we will release the, if any of you wants the full data sheet, please let Sabrina know and we will get it to you. The full Excel sheet, we'll release it to you guys, okay? Now, another thing that I want to talk about is, okay, so an MP does all this Rio stuff. Are they effective MPs? So you can actually go to MyMP and check them out. In this case, looking at Netaji Raya, he's actually quite an effective MP. His attendance is 97 out of 103 parliament sessions that we've monitored. And he's asked 139 questions. He's tabled 19 motions. Okay, so to me, all those metrics indicate, yes, he is a good MP by performing his job. Okay. Now, if you look here, you can actually see all the questions that he's asked. So if you go to MyMP, you can actually click on the questions and you can see all the questions that he asked. We highly encourage the media to use these functions. Our volunteers have done a lot of hard work to put these questions in there so that people can actually absorb this content. Okay? Okay. Who's the funniest MP? Now this one, we actually did two versions because in the HANSARD there is Dewan Ketawa and there is Ketawa. Okay, so Dewan Ketawa doesn't happen so often, but Ketawa happens often. And I don't know how the stenographer says, yang ini mungkin Dewan, yang ini mungkin sikit orang saja. I don't know. But we have both rankings here and it's the same person, so it's okay. Okay, so for the period of July 2018 to October 2022, your funniest MP is Shahidan Kasim. Hey! And he won both. So even for Dewan Ketawa, he's 76. And then for Ketawa, he's 238. Okay? And because I'm from chili sauce, we have a meme. Okay. Okay, so that is pre-GE15. Now we go to post-GE15. Dah? Okay. Remember, when you're right about this, don't say this is serious, please.
So Chuck, the one on the top just now, right, is Ketawa, and then the bottom, the longer list is Dewan Ketawa.
Dewan Ketawa, yes, correct. Okay?
Okay.
So now we look at Shahidan Kasim as an MP. Is he actually a good MP? And the answer is, yes, he is. His attendance is better than Netaji Raya. Okay? He's attended 99 out of 103 parliament sessions. And he's asked 57 questions. He's also under investigation for molestation. But so that's the tag here. We have badges for all the MPs. But this is under investigation only, okay? So this one, you know, it's up to you. So I think this one resulted in a DNAA, same as Zahid. Okay? But we put this data there. It's up to people to interpret it however they want. Okay? And then these are the questions that he asked. Okay? They are decent questions, you know. Kenapa Puspakom ditarik balik Monopoly, you know. They're not all fun and games questions. So I feel like, yes, even though they are controversial, even though they're funny, they are actually doing their jobs. Okay, so that's an important part of the equation. Now, Rio Parliament ke-15. Current. Any guesses?
Sunny Hamzat.
Okay, coming up. Want to put money in it? Tak boleh. Yang itu jangan record. Off the record. Okay, for HANSARDs, December 2022 to June 2023. Keep in mind, this is a much smaller sample of HANSARDs. We will continue to update this data. Hi, Raymond! Finish your Starfield game,
It was very jam.
Okay. And the winner is? Shahidan Kasim again! Tengok ada 2 trofi sekarang. Okay? Netaji Raya is still there. Awang Hashim is there, so good guess. Tajuddin no more already of course. Yeah. So this is total Parliament Rios, I think in the last, maybe about 30 HANSARDs, 30 something HANSARDs, yeah. The final numbers, we can send it to you guys. Just let us know and we'll send you the actual sheets, okay? Ketawa, also Shahidan Kasim. Yeah. So for both, for Dewan Ketawa and then also for normal Ketawa, both also Shahidan Kasim wins. Yeah. Okay, so having said that, is there any questions about this data? Any questions at all? Please, not serious data. I cannot stress, not serious data, okay? Fun data. Good headline, get you guys some traffic, okay? Yeah. Any questions about the data itself? Tak ada. Okay, great. Cool. So now I want to send it back to you guys, okay? MyMP wants to work with journalists. We want you guys to let us know what you want to find out. We can try to find it out for you. No guarantees that we can, but we can try, okay? So let's work together on this, okay? We want to make parliamentary monitoring cool. We want to encourage people to monitor parliament more often. The first time we actually took attendance, it's a very funny story. So what happened was, this was during MCO, hardcore MCO, everyone was stuck at home. And then they had parliament only open to MPs, no journalists, nothing, right? So how do we monitor attendance? We thought we'd do it via YouTube. So we went to the YouTube link. I had all my volunteers, I think about 15 volunteers standing by with a picture of where every MP sits. And then they try and, oh, this fellow sitting here, this fellow sitting here, this fellow sitting here. And we tried it and it failed. And then we were very discouraged after 3 days. And then one of the guys said, sekarang HANSARD ada ambil attendance dah. You know, there's actually a full attendance listing for HANSARD. It started only during that time. I think it was July 2020 or 2021. So they started having attendance, then we started publishing it, and that's where this whole parliamentary monitoring thing started. And that's data that's interesting, right? So we want you guys to actually tell us what data you're looking for. We'll try and look to it for you, okay? Most of you guys have my card already. If you guys want it, please ask. And then if you guys need any data dumps or whatever, let us know, okay? Let's try and hold our leaders accountable by making sure they do their jobs, okay? So there's 2 examples here. So basically, this is Salim Sharif, okay? Salim Sharif deserves to be talked about. Salim Sharif is the only MP from UMNO who has 100% attendance. The only. I believe Malaysia Kini talked about him, but nobody else. And the poor guy was not allowed to run in GE15. Why? I don't know, okay? So these are the kind of issues that we want to talk about. good MPs should stay in their roles, don't you think? You know, hardworking MPs, they should be in their roles. So let's try to make that happen, okay? There were some MPs that had bad attendance that we highlighted that actually didn't get to run also. So, you know, at least some good came out of it. And we just want to make sure that people are continually monitoring them by making it fun so that action actually happens. So now apparently, you know, allowances from MPs are getting cut. Okay, that's great. I think that's okay. Like, unless they attend. So I think that's a good thing. Please don't quote me on that one. So follow us at MyMPV2 on Facebook, X, and IG, or email us at chuck@mymp.org.my. Okay? It's been, wow, we're way ahead of time out here. Okay, so if anyone wants to go for lunch, we can actually go for lunch now, because this is my favorite slide. I just really like this slide. From both sides of the political divide. Okay, so any questions before we close today's conference? If not, then we can just proceed out for lunch already. Are there any questions on this data?
The role is not steno, is a pegawai penerbitan. I just checked.
I'm sorry, again?
Pegawai penerbitan.
The role of stenographer is pegawai penerbitan.
Oh, okay. Pegawai penerbitan. And is it 1 or 2 or 3 or 1? How? Macam mana weh? Dia guna like ChatGPT or something or?
Just be flying.
Yeah.
Probably smokes a lot.
I doubt it. Any other questions on the data? Any other questions about MyMP or ideas or the Pantau Kuasa project or about the NDI workshops? Happy to. Come on, man! I got this thing in front of me. I need to get some questions to ask. Otherwise, it's not cool. Yeah.
So I think so far my have highlighted about the attendance increase and then controversial most ketawa part.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any plans to highlight about the most hardworking or effective MPs in the parliament? Because I think the current political divide, where most politicians will say that, oh, let's talk about policy, which they don't.
Yeah.
But I think there are politicians who have been spoken a lot about policies, but
Mm.
have not been elected,
Mm.
and have not been given enough attention for it. So is there any plan?
Yes. Actually, we have done a comparison in our blog before. You can check it out as blog.mymp.org.my of attendance and number of questions asked in Parliament of the MPs that didn't get re-elected versus the ones that did. And we actually found that the ones that didn't get re-elected marginally had better performance than the ones that actually got re-elected. So we have highlighted those issues before. I mean, sometimes the media picks it up, sometimes they don't, you know. I guess that's your job. We can help with the data. One of the things, like for instance, that you spoke about, like talking about real issues, is very hard to quantify. So how do you know what's a real issue? How do you know what's a real question versus a you know, rubbish question or whatever? We just put all the questions there so that people can go in, look, and decide for themselves whether those are legitimate questions. But on the topic of like performing MPs, the most basic one would be attendance. Well, we've been asked about this attendance issue in workshops. I have to say one thing though, attendance is just an indicator. 100% is not necessarily better than 90%. Okay, we've been told by some journalists that some MPs, you know, go to Parliament, take attendance, and then they chow before lunch. Is that true?
Yeah.
You all say one, not I say one. You all say one. Yeah, so we've heard stories like that before. You know, maybe that's why the allowances are being looked at now. But we just need to monitor these guys. We really do. If I had my way, we would have volunteers go into Parliament throughout the sittings and take attendance at random times each day. In fact, right, I've heard, and I don't know whether this is true, that the Speaker of the House actually has time in and time out for every MP. If they release that, we can quantify that too. You know, we can tell you exactly how many hours the MPs spend inside Parliament. That would be great. You know, then we can publish that and then everyone can have a look. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Okay, cool. Any others?
Chuck, so based on your data, right, because the theme or the title of the
Who's the most controversial MP? Yeah.
Who's the most controversial? So who is the most controversial? Because
Shaitan Kasim.
Shaitan Kasim, the one ketawa and the ketawa bit. Right?
Actually, the ketawa one is the funniest. So currently, he's talking about like who is currently the most controversial MP. It's Shaitan Kasim. which, you know, a lot of you guessed as well. We posted it on Twitter. Some people guessed it was Shaidan Kasim. So I guess our data is pretty decent. Yeah. And then Netaji Raya is prior to G15. Yeah. Yes, Ray.
Slightly off topic, but any update on the NFT thing that you guys did? Because as I understand, profits are supposed to go back to the constituencies.
Okay, so we sold, out of 10 NFTs, we sold 3. And we have been in touch, but basically the money isn't really significant to give back. I think we asked Mariachim whether she wanted it, and she said just keep it. So conversations like that, basically. It just wasn't a significant amount of money. Yeah, so just for everyone's information, you know, last time crypto was cool, right? So we thought, and then everywhere we launched MyMP, someone was saying, hey, you should sell this as NFT, you should sell this as NFT. So we came up with this campaign. Now everyone can buy MPs. And basically, at the time that we launched it, NFT is not cool already lah. So we sold 3. I think we sold Fahmi Fazil, Tony Pua, and Maria Chin, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So there's some funny stories around that, but I can only tell you off the record lah, that one. Because we had to approach every MP to ask them whether they wanted to be sold as NFTs, and there's some really, really funny stories there, off the record. Yeah. So yeah, that's the conclusion of that. Anybody else?
So your data is based on the HANSARD.
Yes.
HANSARD. What about MPs who decide to be controversial outside of Parliament?
No idea. I guess that's entirely up to them. We can't monitor. We focus our efforts on Parliament mainly. I think that's what we try to do. I mean, we have data outside as well. So availability, for instance, is how many contact points they have. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, so on and so forth. X, sorry. And then we have loyalty, how many times they change party and constituency, and yeah, loyalty, party, and constituency. And then we have transparency. We haven't launched yet because there's no common transparency standard. One of the things that we're trying to apply for a grant for is actually to come up with a transparency standard. So maknanya like semua orang kan, if you declare this, your transparency score is 1. You know, if you declare this, your transparency score is 2. Karena sekarang kan is all statutory declaration. Statutory declaration could be anything. You could put anything inside there, right? So if there's a standard, then at least we can grade them. If not, then we can't. Okay. And then work ethic. Work ethic is attendance and all the things that we track in Parliament. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Lunchman.
A lot of work of the MPs are done behind the scenes under the select committee.
Yeah.
Would you be able to highlight how efficient they are serving on the select?
The select committee meetings, we haven't monitored them. Are there minutes available publicly? If there are, I think we could actually take a look at that. We do monitor whether they are part of select committees. That actually contributes to their work ethic. But it's a bit of an unfair score also because you're chosen, you don't volunteer for it, and then, you know, whatever, like, it's based on your profile and so on and so forth. But we do give brownie points for those who are actually part of select committees, yeah, because they obviously have to work a bit harder lah. So I think it's worthwhile for us to reward their first work ethic. Yeah. We can't monitor everything, but we try to monitor what is most effective. So somebody asks us, why don't we monitor Aduns? And anytime someone asks me that, right, the first question I throw back to them is, do you know who your Adun is? And most of the time, people don't know who their Adun is. So why are we monitoring another 600 people over the 200 that we're already monitoring, and you don't even know who they are? So it takes some effort lah. Aduns is a lot more effort because we have to go to every state HANSARDs. You know, that's like 14 different HANSARDs. Don't know how many times a year, different formats and stuff like that. If we get more people, sure, you know. But right now we're like a very small team, so we have to focus our resources on the right places. Yeah.
But looking into items, would that be something that
Definitely. Definitely. For instance, do you guys know how many times state legislation sit every year? So, like Parliament sits like what, 60? Is it 50 or 60 times a year? Is that right? State legislation, guess how many times? Like let's say, you know, Sabah, Sarawak. Something like 10. Yeah, or 12. They only sit like they only they talk about things for like 10 days a year. Is that worth their salary? Debatable. I don't know. You know, those are things we want to monitor too. Yeah. Okay. All right. Has everyone ordered your lunch? Okay, who's coming for lunch? Who does not come? It's fine. It's fine. It's totally fine. No pressure. We just want to buy you guys a meal. We got budget. Okay, so let's get some coffee. You know. But the place has a maximum booking of 12